Hello. Today I'm going to talk to you about a powerful tool that can help you to be successful at any goal you choose or help you to make a decision. And it's called the force field analysis. And what you do is you write down your goal in this column. So it might be that you need to set aside time and be successful at, let's say, business development, and write your current situation here. Then you identify the forces that are driving you towards success. Those things that are the wind behind your sails, what could help you to be successful at your goal, or those forces that would push you towards a yes decision if you need to make a decision on something. So, for example, you have a leads list, and then you score it based on the extent to which it forces you towards success, the extent to which it can help you to be successful at your goal. So we'll pretend this is a 7 out of 10. It's not a red hot lead list, but it's not too cold either. And then maybe another thing that will force you towards success might be your network. So you put that down here and you write down all the different forces that are driving you towards success, and you score it out of 10, the extent to which it will drive you towards success. So a 10 would be it couldn't get any higher, and 0 meaning it couldn't get any lower. So we'll just, for argument's sake, pretend your network is about an 8 out of 10 that will push you towards success because they're pretty helpful. And you keep going down along the line here and scoring it. And then you move to the opposing forces once you've all of them exhausted on the left-hand side. So what are the forces that were opposing your success, that are hampering your development or your success in this area? So you might write down time management as an issue. So up until now, maybe you mightn't have been able to set aside time for this. So this could be a pretty high score. You might score it as 10. So it's a high score in terms of holding you back. And then other things might be you mightn't have the training in it. You might be just new to it. So you might just write down unskilled, and this could be a pretty high score too. So we'll just say for argument's sake an 8. And you do that for each of these opposing forces all the way down, and you scored them as well. Then once you've all of them scored and you're sure that you've all of the driving forces and all of the opposing forces written down and scored, you go back and you analyze them. You analyze the score. You'll see here that the original total written down for this is 15 for the forces driving you towards success, and opposing forces are 18. So the likelihood of success is much lower as a result of this score. So what you can do then, a really important step, is to look at your forces driving you towards success, and you see to what extent and to which ones can you leverage, can you impact in a positive way. So for example, your leads list, you could refresh your leads list or reach out to them and make them more warm. And maybe you might add more leads on LinkedIn on a daily basis, all those kinds of steps. And you might find that you can adjust this, and you can adjust this score from a 7 to maybe a 9. Then there will be some elements that you look at and you might necessarily be able to change. And we'll just say, for argument's sake, that you can't necessarily change your network. I would challenge that, of course, but just for the argument's sake here, we'll leave that, then make sure we don't forget to put in the score, even if it doesn't change in the adjusted, put in the same score. And then when you've done that all the way down, you will see then this new adjusted score down here in the bottom. Now I have an equation put in here, but you might want to add it up if you don't have that equation done. And then you do the same then for the opposing forces. But to what extent can you minimize these opposing forces? So you're subtracting the score when you do that. So you might have a think, how can I minimize time management as an opposing force? There are tools for time management. There's training you can get done. The time quadrant is a wonderful tool you could use. So think about all those things that you would commit to. And once you did commit to it, to what extent would that score be changed? And that will be the adjusted score. So let's say, for argument's sake, that we can dramatically reduce this score. We might reduce it by 6. You'd bring that then from a 10 to a 4. So that's your new adjusted score. Then if you're unskilled, there's lots of training you can get. You can get mentoring, you can get coaching. And so that score can be pretty dramatically impacted as well. So we might bring that unskilled. We can reduce this maybe by 5 from an 8 to a 3 because there's training out there that you can commit to. And you'll do that the whole way down then for all of the opposing forces. And you'll see then your new adjusted score. So to begin with, before you adjusted the score, the opposing forces were higher in terms of their impact than the forces driving you towards success. But now, after adjusting it and looking at what we can do to leverage the forces driving you towards success versus minimizing the opposing forces, you will see that your new score is higher for the forces driving you towards success. So you'll see you're likely going to be very successful at this now with the new things that you can do to leverage the scores. If you still find that the opposing forces are higher, then it might be a sign that you need to alter your goal or break it down, or it could be a no decision if it's a decision for yes or no. And then based on that, you've decided, okay, my score is higher here. I'm going to go for this goal and I'm going to implement the things that I've identified that I can alter the driving forces and the opposing forces to work in my favor. You write down those action items here. So I mentioned about warming up your lead list. I mentioned about maybe reaching out to more people to generate more leads. And then also doing the training and time management or using your time management tools and appropriately planning and prioritizing and all of those kind of things for time management. And then upskilling, all of those kind of things that you identified. So you'd write all of those down in your action items here. Then you identify the 1 to 3 action items that you're going to commit to. What are the 1 to 3 action items that will make the biggest impact? And then when they are habitual and they are up and running, then identify the 1 to 3 actions then from there on out and just keep looking at your action list and keep implementing the action items to help you to push you towards success and be successful at whatever goal you choose. So what you have at the end is a clear visualization of the forces that are driving you towards success and the ones opposing success and the extent to which they're doing so, and then action items then to leverage the driving forces and action items to minimize the forces that are hampering your success and clear steps then you can take to be successful at any endeavor.